Doubtful are the words, and dark are the ways, but in your words and ways is light. Thus then, now as ever, I enter the path of darkness, if happily so I may obtain the light. And with the third installment of this series, the lesson titled Iconography, Initiation. The proportions of the human figure, according to Vitruvius, drawn by Leonardo da Vinci, circa 1510. The geometry of the human body is indicative of the highest mysteries of the cosmos. The circle may be formed from a person lying on his back, with a compass placed at the navel. The square is formed from the measure of the height from head to toe, and the width of the outstretched arms. Man is a microcosm, the perfect image of the universe. This next piece is called Chakras, heading by Johann Georg Gitchell, reproduced in Theosophica Practica by William Law, 1898. The labels on the figure read pride, avarice, envy, love, possessiveness, anger. This is the entirely earthly, natural man prior to initiation. Next is a beautiful illustration, and it's called Psychrostasia, drawn by Lucy Lamy from the temple of Der el Medinet. The weighing of the heart, seen from the Book of the Dead, shows the deceased, or candidate, standing between Ma'at of the two horizons. His heart is on the balance, weighed against Ma'at's feather of truth. The scales balance. Thoth records this and announces the presence of the candidate to Osiris, before whom stand the son of Horus and the ammonite beast who would have devoured the candidate had his sins weighed down the balance. The candidate himself is in the posture of Hu Par Krat, the child god and lord of silence. The innocent of the now justified deceased is thus represented. Next is the consecration by Horus and Set of Seti I, tracing of Papyrus, Thebes, 19th dynasty, and the gods of the Egyptians by A.E. Wallace Budge, 1904. The deities are showering the pharaoh Seti I with ankhs poured from the vases held in their hands. The ankh is a symbol of life, fertility, and immortality. Next is Ananda, on a Mesopotamian cylinder seal, dated 3rd millennium BCE. The descent of Anana, or Ishtar, is the oldest myth of the journey of death and rebirth. Anana was a Sumerian queen of heaven who decided to visit her sister, Orishnagel, queen of the underworld. At each of the 7 gates of the underworld, she was ordered to remove one of her symbols of power. Naked, she was murdered by Orishnagel. After 3 days, she was revived and reborn. She is depicted with a female worshiper, or minor goddess, raising her hand in a gesture of adoration. Now this illustration is called The Vision of the Holy Grail, tapestry by William Morris, to the design of Burne-Jones, circa 1890. The Grail was said to be the cup that caught the blood Jesus shed during the crucifixion. It may also have been the cup that he used to celebrate the Passover at the Last Supper. The various versions of the Grail myth derive from the fact that it was an oral tradition whose individual tellers would embellish and change the story at will. The Horn of Plenty, the Cauldron of Immortality, and the Ever-Full Vessel are pagan antecedents of the Grail. The Grail is variously described as a cup of intensely beautiful light, a plate from which each person receives the meal of his choice, or the consecrated host, or a stone with which the power to heal and bring plenitude. In this beautiful image, Galahad kneels at the door of the chapel, while the knights, Bors and Percival, who are less spiritually pure, remain some distance away. The lance, held by the angel with the plate, is that which pierced the side of Jesus as he hung on the cross. The Temptation of Saint Anthony, painting by Hieronymus Bosch, circa 1510. Saint Anthony sits in meditation with his companion pig. A sinister, menacing terror becomes the means for tempting the saint. A creature emerges from the pond. Others bring a jug of alcohol. Demons and the Bashian hybrids amass to discuss Anthony and torment the pig. Next is St. George and the Dragon, painted by Raphael, 1505. The image of the dragon slayer celebrates the triumph of virtue over a powerful instinctual enemy. Its roots go back to Sumer, where the sun god Nunutra slew the dragon Zu. In Egypt, the serpent Apep, or Apophis, was engaged in fierce battle with the sun god Ra each night. The Christian hero St. George recalls the story of Perseus and Andromeda. George was born in Turkey. During his stay in Libya, he learned of the dragon who lived in a pond near the town of Sicily. The dragon exhaled poisonous fumes, killing people whenever it approached the walls of the city. To pacify the dragon, the inhabitants brought 2 sheep every day until there were no more sheep. The dragon then killed many more people. The townsfolk decided to bring it a human and a beast each day, consequently suffering the loss of many of their children. The lot fell eventually on the daughter of the king. On her way to the pond, she met George, who asked the cause of her sorrow. He slew the monster through the power of his belief in Jesus Christ and converted the town to Christianity, baptizing some 20,000 men in addition to women and children. George was adopted as the patron saint of Britain in 1349. And just an additional sidebar note, the Order of St. George, symbolically associated with the U.S. Army, Armor Branch in particular, is awarded for courage in combat. The Mountain of the Philosophers. Illustration: the secret symbols of the Rosicrucians of the 16th and 17th centuries. Edits by J.D.A. Eckhart in 1785. This is the sacred mountain of initiation, or Adbedness, also known as Abi Angus or Lamb of the Father. Christian Rosenkreuz is seated before the tomb, wherein he lay for 120 years, surrounded by various alchemical symbols that hide the highest treasure in the world. The date of 1604 is that of the opening of the tomb, according to the fame and confession of the Fraternity of the Rosy Cross, the first Rosicrucian document, published in 1614. The text below the image reads, in part, "Be diligent, peaceful, constant and pious. Pray that God may help you. And if you obtain, never forget the poor. Then you will praise God with the legions of angels now and forever." And lastly, the College of the Rosicrucian Fraternity. Illustration: Speculum Sophicum, Rhodo Storophicum, by Theophilus Swaghart, 1618. In the upper left, near the man encircled by the crowned serpent, can be seen the date 1604. A rose and a cross are inscribed on each of the side of the doorway. The whole is attached to the hand of the Lord. The trumpet, sword, winged bell tower, shields inscribed with a divine name, Jehovah or Yahweh, scholar studying a globe, and numerous other symbols all point to the doctrines within the sacred college. The philosopher in the lower right is shown anchored in a prayer that ascends directly to the highest.